Man, Tim, man, I appreciate that, big dog. I appreciate that a bunch. Man, I appreciate that. That's nice. That's awful nice of you. All right, let me show you. So, I know it looks like, good Lord of Moses, what in the world's going on? I know it looks crazy, but I am cleaning up the wires, but I got everything fixed. I found out what the problem was, and it wasn't a battery issue. This is part 3. It wasn't a battery issue. It was a connection issue. It was a bad ground, and I don't even know how that's even possible. But we got it fixed. Well, I say me. All right, so we're gonna go back through the setup, and I'm gonna show you how this works. All right. So I did a little bit of testing to see what was going on. So the black and yellow wire is output. It says connect to ground side of relay trigger. Black and yellow. This is the negative side of this 2-channel relay. And then the other one was green and white. It says connect the ground side of trigger relay for fan 2, which is right there. Trigger relay, fan 2. All right, so that's that. All right, so that is that. I've had the battery charger on it for a minute, so we're good to go. So I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you how this would work if it was in a vehicle and it was running, how the fans would work. So it's really, really simple. So you turn the key on. When you turn the key on, the fuel pump's when you turn this on, this is gonna come on for 2.5 seconds. When that happens, it's gonna send a signal through the PCM, which is the PCM is right there. It's gonna send a signal through through this relay, and it's gonna run over here to this blue wire, and it's gonna tell this fuel pump to come on. Fuel pump is on. Contact. All right, that is primed. Now, if everything else was good to go, we'd hit the switch and she would crank. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the monitoring system. We're gonna look at the monitors, and we're gonna look at, let's back up. We're gonna go to multi-gauge. We're gonna look at vitals. And right now, the voltage is 12.2. And the coolant temperature sensor is 96 degrees, which is that sensor right there is reading 96 degrees because that's what it is in the shop. And there's no water in this thing, so that's what it's reading. All right, so now we're gonna back up and we're gonna go to sensors. Oh, no, hold on. We're gonna back up again. We're gonna go to tuning, And now we're gonna go to systems. Now we're gonna go to outputs because that's what we're looking for, outputs. There's your outputs, all right? So you got fan 1 temperature on is 120 degrees. Boy, if it wasn't for a damn spam call, man, it wouldn't be it. I'm gonna go and tell you that right now. I got my phone in do not disturb, and I don't know how spammers get through when you got do not disturb. So let's try this again. You got fan 1. Fan 1 comes on at 120 degrees. Fan 1 goes off at 100 degrees, okay? Fan 2 comes on at 120. Fan 2 goes off at 100. All right, I got it set like that because the block is 96 degrees. So if I drop this temperature down to 96 degrees, then it ain't going to work, okay? Oh yeah, Tim, them son of a guns. Man, I got my phone in do not disturb, meaning they ain't but 4 people that can get through. And a daggone telemarketer ain't one of them, but somehow their robocalls get through. All right, so we're going to fan temperature off. So once the engine gets down below, let's say 90 degrees, the fans would cut off. But we already know that the block's 92 degrees. So when I put it to 92 degrees, it's going to come on. So if we go, so the off temperature has to be lower than the on temperature. So if we go clear and we go 91 and we hit OK, hit save. All right. So now we're going to do fan 2 the same way. Fan 2, we want it to cut off once the block hits 91. So we hit 91, clear, 91. We're doing this for demonstration purposes, okay? All right, so now temperature fan 1 will cut off when the water temperature gets below 91 degrees. Now this thing don't have any water in it, it's just picking up ambient temperature because that's just what it said a while ago. So we're gonna have fan 1 to come on at 92 degrees because that's what the block is. So we go fan 1, hit clear, 92 degrees. Now, when I hit save, fan 1's gonna come on. The light come on. Fan 1 is on. Fan 1 is on. All right. Fan 2. Actually, Mike, it was a bad ground. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the battery, but the battery charger is on, big dog. All right, fan 2. A damn telemarketer came through again. Ah! So we're gonna make fan 2 come on at 91 degrees. Oh, 92 degrees, I'm sorry. Fan 2 just come on. Fan 1's on. Fan 1's on, fan 2's on. So, you see, because the reason why both of them are on is because the block, all right, so we hit back, home, monitoring, monitor, sensors, right there. All right, coolant temperature sensor is 96 degrees, all right? So that's how that works, all right? Go back to tuning, hit systems, outputs, right there. Fans on. So if the block's 96, so if we go and put this to 97, the block's hotter than that then. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Fan 1 just cut off. Or fan 2 just cut off. Because it thinks, this is what I like about this system. You can tell fan 1 to fan 2 to come on at certain temperatures. So fan 2 just cut off because it says that it reached 97 degrees, right? Fan 1 is still running because it hasn't dropped below 91, right? So we have to upgrade this temp so fan 1 will cut off. We basically lying to it. So until it's 98. All right, now we're gonna tell it to turn off. Oh, 97. Fan 2 just cut off. So got fan 1, got fan 1 on, fan 1 off, fan 1, 2, fan. So basically how that's working is this trigger wire through the PCM is activating as the ground, and it's completing the circuit, and then it's running voltage down to the fans. So if we were setting this up, since this thing has a 195 thermostat, what I would do, since it has a 195 thermostat, I would put fan 1 would come on when it reached 190. So when it hit 190 degrees, fan 1 would come on. All right, and then when it hit 195, fan 2 would come on. You see what I'm saying? So if the water was if you got a 195 thermostat, and the thermostat's going to open at 195 to start circulating the water out of the radiator, right? So you don't need to have the fans come on before the thermostat opens, unless you wanted to. So if the thermostat opens at 195 and your fans come on at 180, your fans are going to be running, cooling the water in the radiator, and the water's not even circulating. It's circulating through the bypass, but I guess whatever sets up works best for your car, right? This is a 195. I noticed when Kevin was doing the C10, I seen how many points he put versus, you know, the thermostat versus whatever. So if the thermostat was a 195, I seen where he put the endpoints of the parameters of the coolant system. So on fan 1, if we got a 195 thermostat, I'm going to have fan 1 come on at 190, right? And then I'm going to have fan 2 come on like at 195, 5 degrees more to come on. And then you also have it where it's wired up where the fans will come on for AC kickdown. Because once you got to think about it, when you run an air conditioner, you got a condenser on it, and that condenser is going to get up heat. So therefore, you have to have the cooling fans to come on at a certain temperature to do that. So that's a whole nother can of worms. But what's up? What's up, John? And shut them down at what? Yeah, somewhere around there, Mike. Yeah, somewhere around there. Shut them down at 185. Somewhere around there. Whatever works. But that works pretty good. So fan 1 is on. So we just double check, clear. Fan 1 at 97. It probably won't let me do it. Nah, so my lower temperature has to be so fan 1 should come on. It must be cooler. Oh, 95. What's the temperature? $96. All right, so it's 96. Fan 1 on at 95. I keep hitting the wrong one. I need to get the stylus. There we go. Fan 1 just come on. All right. Now let's make fan 2 come on. So we do 94. '95. Fan 2. The relays come on. Fan 1, fan 2. So we're good to go. Good to go. I'll show you how much them fans are blowing. Walmart. Let's show Walmart. We're doing pretty good. Yeah, Mike, you could do that too. Yeah, you could use the electric water pump as the trigger. Yeah, so when the electric water pump come on, it would trigger the relay to turn the fans on. Yeah, you could do that too. You could actually do that too. I actually thought about running the fuel. It's crazy. Now I did this on a foiler one time, but I done it in an ice box. I was even thinking about, when you cool the fuel down, if you can cool your fuel down, it makes more horsepower, So if, they have water cooler containers, it's got a copper line that runs through it or whatever, stainless steel line that runs through it, and then they pack it full of ice, and then they run their fuel through it, and you bring the temperature point of the fuel down, doing a lot of racing and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of the word. So I even thought about that, not on a client's vehicle, but my personal stuff. Like I could take and run the fuel through a cooler and put a fan on that cooler to cool the fuel down to get the fuel temperature lower. Therefore, it would increase performance. But that's just something I've been thinking about doing on my personal stuff, not a client's vehicle. Not a client's vehicle. Condenser, the charger. I appreciate it. Also give y'all a little update on the 68 C10. The client was out of country. But he actually texted me today and said that he's seen the video on YouTube, and he said, tell me what we got, Jay. So I told him what we had, and he's like, what we need to do? And I was like, well, the ball's in your court, big dog. If you want to go to a DX1 Pro charger, let me know. And he said, well, I told you the goal was this, and we hit this. So I'll be back in a couple weeks. Get me some numbers together, and let's make it happen, Captain. So I guess we're going to be putting a DX1 Pro charger on the 68 C10. So for the ones that's just tapping in, here's the radiator support that I made. 626. Right at 626. That was the number. 626. So we was a little shy from 650. So, but yeah, so I made this, got all that done. I hear them packing up down here. I got to clean my mess up. But nah, you wasn't all far, big fish. But that DX Pro charger, every bit of this comes off. All that front drive system comes off, and it's a whole kit. It's everything: water pump, alternator, air conditioner, compressor. It's everything. And then the Pro charger goes here, and then the only thing I'd have to do is just redo a little bit of this charge pipe. Might have to go around the world and come back. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh yeah, they got the slick machine on the back of the truck. So been on there for 25 minutes. Make sure y'all yes, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that notification bell. It's been 25 minutes. I appreciate everybody tapping in. I didn't think they'd be done right now. It's 5:15 here on the East Coast. So I'm gonna go on and tap out right now. And y'all just stay tuned, and appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And remember what I said, boys and girls, it wasn't a bad battery or a low charge battery, it was a bad ground. So I got the ground fixed, and I don't understand why, but grounds are weird. So after I got off the phone with y'all the first time, I found I had a bad ground, and now we're good to go, and everything's working. So I appreciate you, boys and girls. Remember what I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first, let loose and drag. Peace, some chicken grease. I'm out.